Yeah, we go.
Okay, so I'll be doing 1.1.6, which is discussing the problems that may arise as a part of data migration. So I'll briefly go over what data migration is. It's basically moving data, and it could be as simple as putting a file on a USB flash drive and opening it on another computer, or it can be as big as involving big databases or exchanging information across countries into different time zones. So I'll discuss the problems that may arise when transferring data. The first one is that there's incompatible file formats. So if a software contains different versions, it'll prevent data from being transferred between the different versions as a result of incompatibility. So you can see in this image below. If you can see in this image below, it just says there's an incompatible file format for this Mac system. The next one we have is incompatible data structures. It's not about transferring one file format to another, example PowerPoint to Keynote. Instead, it's to do with the way data is stored in one particular database or program compared to another. And also, data migration will be more complex for businesses if store of data is not done the same. So what I mean by this, for example, there's two databases for student records. You can see in the first one, it contains separate data for the first name, middle name, and last name. Instead, if you look in database B, it only has one database for the full name. Same thing for the country and address. For the top one, it includes the entire thing, but for the bottom, it's separated. Moving on to the next one, there's incompatible validation rules. So whenever data is transferred, it is worth making sure that whatever was sent is what is received. So the rules involved for validation are different between different databases. So there needs to be some way of reconciling and reworking these techniques. So examples of some of these techniques would be like checksums and parity checkings. Finally, international conventions of dates, currencies, and character sets. So in simple terms, types of data might be more confusing for some recipients to interpret depending on the region they are in. For example, in the UK, the date 4/2/21 means the 4th of January 2021. However, a person in the US were to read that, they would see it as the 2nd of April 2021. For some currencies, they use the same symbol. So for the US, they use the $sign, and so does Hong Kong. However, the conversion rates are different from each other. And also, character sets such as Arabic letters may not appear on foreign computers, so it may not appear for something for like a Russian computer. So now we'll just do an IB-style question. The context here is a business has decided to replace their current computer system with a new computer system. And the question asks, the data from the old computer system needs to be transferred onto the new computer system. Discuss two problems that may arise as a result of this data migration. Okay, so who wants to answer this question? Who wants to? Someone has to answer this question. Oh yeah, Pablo. Okay, go ahead.
So, first problem may arise is compatibility of subjects. There is one syllabus, maybe there's a new syllabus. Are both computer systems using basically new syllabus? It's the way they material as in subject, right? And also it could happen that files are encrypted or are certain file types that it's just too old for the new computer system. And that will result in a more demanded data migration.
All right. So in order to gain full marks, you just have to, you get 1 mark for each distinct problem identified, 1 mark for a description of each identified problem, 1 mark for elaboration, and also another mark for correct terminology used throughout. And there's some exemplar answers. So you have incompatible, so that it's just the same thing as I spoke before, incompatible formats of data, data loss and migration. There's also an extra things about systems may be unavailable during the migration process, and also new data may continue coming in during the migration process. And that's pretty much it.